everybody. Welcome to this episode of Think Business series of What Are You Good At? My co-host, Jeff Gunsberg, partner at Title Connect, all your commercial and residential title needs. Looking forward to talking to you guys, Garryn Laws and Matthew Bucaro. Guys, it's great to connect with you, Convoy Capital. I'll kind of kick us off. This podcast is all about talking to people to find out not only what are you good at, but how did you figure it out, and really diving into the nuances of you. Garryn, maybe we'll start with you. How did you figure out what you were good at? I think I'm really good at listening and asking questions, and I've been able to turn a business into it. So get as nuanced as you want.
I think I'm still trying to figure that out, honestly. But I think what I learned that what I was good at is I was able to kind of create relationships from nothing. And, I love being in front of people. I love talking to people. I'm kind of the guy that will go in the room that doesn't know anybody, but I'll know, 100 people after I leave. I really love that, is being in front of people, talking to people, getting to know them. And I think I've been really good at creating relationships that have virtually started from nothing. So I think that would probably be, the thing that I would say that I'm best at.
When you guys started, did you begin like in this world, in your sales kind of venture journey, or did you start doing something else first and then recognize that maybe this was something that you could add value in?
Yeah, no, I didn't even start my career in real estate. Like, I started in sports, professional sports. Then I actually went to the security industry, and then I got into real estate. But honestly, I wish I would have done it a long time ago. But I didn't even start there. But, whether it's real estate, sports, security business, I've always been in sales and always been able to, connect with people on a personal level that have led to a lot of long-term relationships.
I have a question on that, and Matt, we'll get to you, Matthew. But creating relationships, and today is different because you have Zoom and you have Teams, and I think we're all from the cut from the original thread of going to meetings, and that's how business was kind of done. How do you build what's one or two things of how you build relationships today consistently? That are kind of back to the basics.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's definitely not my ugly mug that people are seeing on here that creates credibility. So I would say that, a lot of, doing things over Zoom and doing things, that it kind of, especially that happened a lot during COVID, right? Because a lot of people weren't wanting to meet in person. But a lot of how we've been able to create credibility is honestly from referrals. A lot of times we're referred to somebody from an investment sales broker, or a common relationship we have, or we close a deal with somebody. That's the greatest form of credibility, is that when we close a deal with somebody, we jump on, we obviously have something to talk about right out the gate. So I would say it's just, really understanding our client, really understanding who we're talking to, knowing what they do, really being able to understand that at a high level, and showing a general interest in the client. That's really helped as far as establishing credibility for us.
You can talk about going out to Michigan 2-3 times a year.
We also go out to Michigan 2 to 3 times a year. So people go from seeing us on the screen to in person, and that's really helped a lot as well for us.
Great.
Yeah, I think for me, I have experience with you guys too, and although you're out in Cali, coming here, being present, meeting people in person, which is harder for you, in this market, but you guys are invested in doing that. Is that, I'm going to switch gears. So you guys as a team together, how did that start? How did you guys figure that out? Because me and my business partner have just like the perfect mix of like what I like to do and what he likes to do. And it seems like you guys might have that too, right? So, I'm just, I think it's good for people to hear kind of exactly how that relationship organically came about.
Yeah. I mean, as you can see, I do most of the talking, right? But we I'll let Matt give his answer after this, but I think what we discovered early on was that, you know, aside from just working really well together in a professional sense, we also had a lot of similarities too outside of work. You know, we're both kind of cut from the same cloth. We're big on trust. We're big on respect. But I'm the one that kind of creates and goes out and finds the relationships. Matt does a lot of the back end work, and he's definitely more of the brains of the operation. I'm kind of the dumb one. But, you know, I would say that it's been really awesome and fulfilling to kind of walk into this business. And Matt's the one that essentially hired me. We didn't know each other at all. We had a couple mutual friends, but now we're basically brothers. So I would say that it takes a lot of trust, a lot of respect, and we just work really well together. When we're in a room, you know, we can kind of work a room from A to Z, and you know, it's worked out well for us. Luckily, this year has been our best year so far, and hopefully it just continues adding on. But yeah, I don't know, Matt, if you want to follow up on that.
Yeah, and Matt, start from the beginning. Not only that, but how did you figure out what you're good at?
Yeah, I would say I didn't really have the luxury of figuring out what I was good at. I left home when I was 18 years old, and it was really just like survival from then. I knew I was good at numbers. I grew up with two, what I would call mentors or idols in my family who were really good at numbers, and they were in the banking world. So I kind of just followed their footsteps, went to college, had a job right away in the aerospace industry, and then figured that wasn't good for me. It was all sales. And I went into banking right away, and it was literally just to pay the bills. And I, through that, paying the bills and finding out I was good at numbers, and then starting to figure out the relationship thing. I mean, I was raised in an Italian household, so talking and being at events, it just came natural. So
Yeah.
for me, it wasn't, hey, go figure out what you're good at. It was more of a survival thing. And then through the survival, it was figuring out, hey, you're good at these numbers and creating the relationship. And just to Garren's point, I mean, the beginning of my career, I was really good at the relationship stuff, going to events. I mean, prior to COVID, I was at 2-3 events a week. I mean, Jeff is like that now. He's always at something, right? That was me in the beginning of my career. I was always somewhere, right? So I created this very, very massive referral network. And then I kind of transitioned into creating a team. So I hired 4 guys, Garryn being one of them. I trained them for 2 years, and I didn't really understand how much it would have taken out of me and taken me away from producing and the going to events and going all that. So, I mean, it really took a dip on my personal production, but I got to watch Garryn and Matt Engel and Eric Alvarez and Michael kind of blossom and bring in deals in their first year and make over $100,000 in their first year. I mean, just, it was pretty awesome. So to Garren's point, he now is the face of it, and he goes out to the events and brings in the business. I still have my relationships that I built over 10, 11, 12 years. But, you know, through experience in 12 years, I am more the back end just because I know the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. You know, and I think that is exactly what this show's about, right? Identifying where you can succeed and you know, where value is added there for you. Like, it's not easy to step back from what you were doing, I'm sure. You know, like, you know, you're the face, and that's the fun stuff, right? To be out there. People think it's fun, you know, like event after event after event after event. I mean, it's like, you know, it's great, but it's also a lot of like, you know, just mental gymnastics and all that fun stuff. So, but you know, figuring out together how you guys work, and who's good at what, I think is a really important thing, you know, for anyone listening to the show. Is like, you know, like it's not always, you know, and I think more often than not, it's not just like, you know, the you know, the you know, square peg going into the square hole, you know, hole. So I think it's just always trying to figure out exactly what the right mix is for you guys. And you know, took me a long time too. And, you know, there's a lot of ego involved too, you know, stepping back and trying to support other people instead of yourself. And, you know, there's a lot to it. So as far as just figuring out for you guys, like who's role is exactly what? Like, was there like a dynamic, like a conversation that like started to occur, like when you realized, like, okay, Matt, like you wanted to step back a little bit and then grow this? Like, where exactly did that, begin?
I'll be honest, there wasn't a lot of structure. I didn't have any training to kind of go off of. I was really just teaching myself how to teach them. I don't say I am. I think I'm good at figuring out who's good at what. I think that's something a trait that I have learned along the way. So I realized in each person on the team what they're really good at. And with Garryn, we kind of it just meshed really well. Not to say that I can't go to the events and do the relationship. Like I said, I did it for the first 8 years of my career.
And you do. I've seen you there.
And I still do it, right? It's just that I think I do the back end stuff, the analytical stuff, the modeling, the financial, the return on cost. I do it a little bit better than he does in that aspect, and he does the relationship stuff a little bit better. So it kind of just, there wasn't a structure, there wasn't a conversation.
Trial and error.
Yeah, it was trial and error. And it seems like he's saying this is our best year. It seems that now we've kind of gotten in the flow of things.
Yeah. So I have a question. So, it's interesting. One of my favorite podcasts is a podcast by the name of Founders. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to it, but it's a guy who reads every book by a founder, Carnegie, Buffett, you Dell, I mean, you name it. And then there's a 1-hour talk on it. And pioneers in any industry figure things out, right? And so I think any entrepreneur, they figure things out. But here's what I want to know, because I don't think you can figure this out. I don't think anybody can. Life and business is not a straight line. It goes like this. And a lot of times you don't know it until you've gotten to a place where you're in full alignment. So my question really is, in hindsight, what advice would you give someone to be comfortable with following their talent, letting passion fuel it, but paying attention to, that it's not a straight line, and how to tap into your instincts on kind of how to figure the next steps out?
I guess I'll take a stab at that one. So I think when we first started, or when I first started my first year, everything was great. And then all of a sudden, literally the year after that, rates just went, they didn't slowly go up. They just shot to the moon.
I got COVID as well. Yeah.
And so I'm just like looking at Matt, like, why aren't these deals closing like they did my first year? And honestly, that, those next 2 years following that, I mean, we'd have a deal signed up, and 3 weeks later, the rates jumped like a full point, and the owners would be like, or the guys buying the deal would be like, well, we can't do this deal anymore. It doesn't make sense. So there was a lot of mental toughness that we had to transition to right after my first year. I mean, I had never been through a cycle like that. I don't even think Matt was in the 2008 cycle. So I think it was kind of really testing you mentally that, like, hey, we were closing a lot of deals and it was not like this the year prior. There was a lot of mental obstacles to go through, not to mention all the personal stuff. Matt, I'll let Matt speak a little bit more to this, but Matt had 3 kids under 4 years old, 2 all in that time. So, I mean, managing a team and then going home to a complete circus, it probably was not easy. Plus being in the business of, a very challenging market. I think there was a lot of moments there where we had to really pick each other up too. So aside from just being a team on the business side, personally too, there was countless phone calls of like, hey man, you're going to be okay. Just keep moving forward. Like, we're going to be fine. It was actually interesting. On a yo-yo, I would be at the top part of it. He would be at the bottom, and then we would like flip and go the other way. Where it was like he was picking me up and saying the same things I was saying to him the week prior. So, I would just say that there was a ton of mental hurdles and obstacles on top of everything else outside of life that we both had to really kind of push and get each other through, or maybe we would have been doing something different right now if that was the case.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I mean, having somebody to, hold you accountable, bring you up, support you, be your inspiration. I mean, it's great.
It's a good partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely so. Yeah.
So far, right?
Yeah. So far, yeah.
Fellas,
Jon,
yeah.
I feel like usually you do this, but I wanted to give them a chance to promote yourselves and kind of speak to everybody about what you're good at and what why people should reach out to you and how to get a hold of you and all of that fun stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll take a crack at it. So we work for Convoy Capital. We're West Coast based. We source debt and equity for our clients, and this goes from refinances, acquisitions, developments, and we do that across all asset types. So we've done office, we've done retail, we've done multifamily, self-storage, industrial, cannabis. I mean, the list goes on and on. So our job is to go out and source the best capital for our clients in the market. And, we do that for a wide, we do that in a lot of different ways. But, even though we're on the West Coast in California, a majority of our business, a lot of our business is in Michigan. Thank you, Mr. Gunsberg. And more like East Coast based. So even though we're here, we do source it nationwide. And, our job is to go out and get the 3% interest rates again, essentially is what we do.
Yeah. All right.
Matt, you want to add to that?
Anything to add?
I would just say the biggest thing is we've kind of created a niche where we're not competing with the JLLs and the Northmarks of the world, right? They're really chasing the 50 million plus deals. So we kind of stay in the middle market. We're 5 to 40 million. We're not competing with the big guys, and we're just really, really good in that space.
That's great.
So, we've created a niche. We try to stay in that specialty. I'd say 80% of our business is retail. The rest of it is a mix of multi-industrial and office.
That's great. Well, I appreciate you guys being on today. We're going to end with a quick 60-second speed round. A book that has had a big impact on you.
Oh, boy. A book that's had a big impact on me. Matt, do you have an answer for that?
I don't remember the title of it, but it was Kobe Bryant's book with his trainer. And
yeah, I read it. I loved it. You're talking about, oh my God, I can't think of it either. With Tim Grover.
Tim Grover, exactly.
Relentless.
Talking about Kobe's career and his workouts and all that stuff. And the second one would be Shoe Dogs with Phil Knight.
Yeah, Shoe Dogs is great too. Relentless is a great.
Relentless.
Yeah. Jeff, you got a question?
I don't. You know what? I think that it's great that you guys are on here. I know that you guys do an amazing job. You're always there and available for people to get a hold of you and leverage you for information. And anyone who's who sees this, it's a good resource. You can never have too many options in today's times in the financing world, and just another piece to add to your arsenal. And I think you guys are a great resource. So thank you so much for being on.
Thanks, fellas. Really appreciate you guys. Give everybody your website or how to connect with you.
Yeah, so basically you can go to Convoy. So it's www.convoy-cap.com. And then you can find our information on there. I can also share it, with you, Jon, directly. My number, geez, I feel like I'm selling myself out here, but my number is 714-655-3720. And I'll just say that, and I'll say this too, Jeff, to add on to your point. Everyone has a relationship in there, but I can't tell you how many times we beat them on deals. So even if you just want to run something by us to get our thoughts or our feedback, given that we're out in the market on so many deals, we're happy to provide you anything we can that can help you out on any of your deals. So thank you a lot, and we appreciate it.
Just kind of highlight a couple of things, fellas. I really appreciate you taking time to be on today with Jeff and I. I think community really important to, when it makes sense, niche, know that business is not a straight line. The importance of having a business partner and knowing what you each do, so you can each work to scale and grow the business and fall in your talents and your unique abilities. And when you know what you're really good at, and you can have a business partner that knows what they're good at, and like Jeff shares about him and Walter, they complement each other. You guys complement each other. It's great to see, and it's great to talk to you guys and hear a little bit of your story. Thank you so much. The community, feel free to reach out.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Yeah, Matt and Garryn. Jeff, always great seeing you. Fellas, thanks.
Always.
All right.
I'm out.
You guys.
All right, we'll see you guys soon.